Maybe.
Maybe
not.
Maybe some good candidates or
Maybe
something.
not.
March, April.
What I come up with,
Yeah, I think it's just.
I worked with Dan, who's the consultant, when he was on county planning.
Okay.
I know him pretty well.
You guys are, the town's paying a lot of money, like $160,000 to do this. And we
Who's not here
spend
tonight?
time without hearing from them.
yeah,
I think
He's not here.
everybody would be a lot happier.
I don't
Chris?
know that everybody was being informed quite properly.
We're recording, just the TV is our problem. We thought the cord would
I should
connect
be able
it
to show
all
you
together, but
They
it's
see
not
that
working this
in
evening.
the-
It was working this morning, it's not working this evening.
Do we
Sorry,
have
y'all.
anybody online?
We do have Eric Becker online, for Upper Pine.
Well, I used to stay in pretty close
Okay.
touch with Nicole, and she would give me updates.
Will we be able to hear him?
That's what I'm checking. I'm asking him to unmute.
She's been gone since October.
Eric, can you hear us? I think I heard you for a second there, Eric. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Wonderful. We were trying to figure out where your audio was going to end up. Thank you for that.
Oh, okay. I think there's a few more from Oz Architecture that might be joining to listen in as well.
Okay, perfect. I'll watch for them on the Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Ready to go?
Yep. Okay.
Call the meeting to order at 6:32. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tenza,
Here.
Commissioner Lyon,
Here.
Commissioner O'Shea Heidinger, Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Mayor Ah, Chair Gad.
Here.
Thank you.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd open up to general public input, limited to 10 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker. Have anybody to speak on non-agenda items? See none. Planning commissioners disclose conflicts of interest.
Nope.
Nope.
See none. Entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved?
Second.
Need to do a roll call.
Yes. Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyon,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and Chair Gad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 2A, 2023-13, Upper Pine Fire Protection District, use by review.
Good evening, everybody. Dan Murphy, the town's consultant. I work for SEH Inc. over in Durango, and I'm the planner for the town of Bayfield. So before you tonight is planning project number 2023-13 Upper Pine Fire Protection District use by review. The applicant is Upper Pine Fire Protection District, and Upper Pine is requesting consideration for a new fire station and medical clinic to serve the community. This site will have paramedic services and enhance EMS capabilities within their district here. The proposed site is located within the Bayfield Center subdivision, a great centralized location for this use. The proposed development site is also in proximity to existing public improvements, including water and sewer. The development site will take access directly from Sawyer Drive with a gated access for emergency apparatus only to access County Road 501 as needed during emergency events. To touch on a few things that everybody's probably waiting for that occurred over the last few weeks. So while I recognize the project was previously reviewed due to its dormant status and to ensure adequate public process, it was determined that re-reviewing the project to address any updated considerations and ensure thorough evaluation was warranted. I'll touch on a few of those now. The project was originally submitted to your Community Development Department in June of 2023 and received a conditional of approval by the town's Planning Commission in July of 2023. However, during that review, numerous issues were identified with the site development, including but not limited to the following. Drainage issues, which included capacity notes, which were identified in their provided drainage report. Concerns about direct access on a County Road 501 due to impacts to traffic. Access A, which is the direct access on the Soil Drive, which was determined to have an inadequate site triangle. The request for a lighting plan, construction details, and a geotech report, none of which were submitted to the town for review. And these are all noted in the town engineer's comments dated July 5th, 2023. No documents from this review were received until September of 2024, well over a year. I took the helm for the Community Development Department on October 2nd. Upon receipt of the September submittal, deficiencies were again identified by the town engineer that included the following statement. The site development plans are incomplete and cannot be thoroughly reviewed. We would need a complete civil set with construction details, utility detailed site erosion and control plans, grading and drainage elements, fully designed to recommend approval of this site design. On top of that, since their original submittal, the town has also updated applicable land use documents, including your own zoning map in August of 2024, and the comprehensive plan, which was adopted by this planning commission in November of 2023 after the original submittal of the project. Both of these documents have the legal capability to alter land uses since their previously adopted versions, and also updated policy documents that are included in a comprehensive plan which represent the long-term vision of your town. And now looking at your code. I'm a hired consultant who works in this area and have along the Western Slope for going on 15 years. My job is to uphold the code and ensure your land use projects are reviewed objectively and in accordance with the town's requirements while using professional judgment. Within my capacity as the town planner or the land use administrator as it's referred to within your code, the land use administrator, quote, has the authority to administer the land use code, including but not limited to interpret and administer the land use code and issue land use permits. This statement set forth in section 2-1.a of the town's code. Second, it's common for land use codes to establish timelines to be followed after project approvals. This prevents situations where approved development remains inactive for years, leaving partially developed sites, unutilized land, or incomplete infrastructure that can negatively impact capital improvement plans and surrounding properties. Additionally, requiring developers to act within an efficient time frame ensures the projects comply with current land use policies, building codes, and community priorities that are typically contained within a comprehensive plan. The deficiencies previously mentioned were not resubmitted for over 1 year, and upon resubmittal of their civil set were found to still be deficient. Therefore, it would appear to be an intuitive decision by a land use administrator to require the application to be re-reviewed when in effect the project goes dormant and notable changes occur with both the project itself and within the town's jurisdiction. Looking further in this event, dormant is not a defined term in the town's code because I was asked that. Therefore, taught in legal academics and legal background, which my background is in, absent a regulatory definition, one may review the plain or lay language of a definition of text to consider. Dormant, as typically defined in the lay term, means asleep, inactive, having the faculties suspended. In addition to all that, and in accordance with the Town Code Section 3-11B11, uses subject to review shall be permitted for a duration specified by the town's planning commission or until land use changes or the project is terminated. Additionally, each use subject to review by the town as often as the commission deems appropriate to ensure compliance with applicable criteria. As such, because you have entrusted that responsibility to me, the identified land use administrator, it was my professional recommendation that was then supported by town staff to provide the planning commission and members of the public with the updates to the dormant application that was found to be deficient in 2023 and again in September of 2024. This was done to ensure adequate public consideration and that it was reviewed objectively against current town codes and current town policies. bringing us up to today. The applicant then resubmitted after the September submittal a new civil design dated December 11th, 2024. Included in your own packet is the town engineer's comments, which are titled Engineering Review Comments on Upper Pine Fire Protection District, New Fire Station Number 1 Submittal 3. Notably included in the third submittal was an updated photometric plan to ensure dark sky compliance. This was requested back in 2023, but not received until this past December. Also included was an updated geotech report, drainage report, and other site development improvement sheet sets that were also requested in 2023. The updated plans are found to be compliant with the applicable town standards by the town engineer and to move the project forward. Remaining comments noted in your packet are basic comments that could be accommodated when the applicant pursues construction this coming spring. Reviewing the project myself, we found compliance with section 3-11, which is the applicable section for uses subject to review. The project was found to categorically meet all criteria of items listed A through H. It is in general conformance with the town's comprehensive plan and overall will be a great addition to the town of Bayfield and its constituents. Staff has provided 3 motions for you all consider tonight, A, B, and C. Staff does recommend action item A for the Planning Commission to approve project number 2023-13, Upper Pine Fire Protection District use by review, with the 2 findings and 4 conditions stated in your staff report. I have nothing further.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak? For the representative that's on.
Their engineer was informed me he was going to attend on Zoom this evening.
I've got a Eric Becker and I've got a CLP.
Might be CLP. His name's Chris.
So Chris is on. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I think that covered everything very well. But obviously the project was put on hold for some time. The project originally came to the Planning Commission as there was a hurdle that we had to get over to apply for some government grant funding to be able to carry the design forward on behalf of the fire district. So we needed to get a Planning Commission approval. Obviously that approval happened with conditions of approval. I think most of the things that you're speaking to that was not in the package was part of those conditions. And then the fire district, for one reason or another, decided to put the project on hold until they got some of the funding secured to be able to pay us as consultants to progress that design. All of that has happened. Obviously, we've made a lot of progress, and I think we're down to where, just like you said, a couple of just real minor issues to resolve that really doesn't have any impact on the site layout or anything. And I think we'll be ready to get this thing, close to construction here. So, appreciate everything, the good thorough input from the planning department, and happy to answer any questions if you have any.
So, at this point, do we have final construction plans?
If you look at the notations and the engineering comments, which is common, I forget which page number it is exactly. I could try to pull it up quick.
That's all right.
But there's a note, pretty much in my opinion, I would defer to SGM, but there's a comment that says pretty much provide final stamp plans. There's a couple of very basic comments, and typically when you submit the final stamp plans to a municipality, that's when you're ready to build.
Okay, and the drainage issue, is that?
Has been resolved
Has been
based on their
resolved?
recent review, correct?
Okay. Okay, that's the only questions I have at this point.
Only question I have is that emergency exit that they're gonna use. It's gonna be closer to the roundabout when you come out of the roundabout, right?
It'll be to the north of that, and it's going to be gated. It's not going to, the members of the public will not have legal right to use it for any reason. It's only for emergency apparatus.
Will they be able to put any kind of warning light on there when that gate goes up that we know they're coming out?
I would defer to Chris if he heard that question, the engineer and the design team, for them to see if they're going to have a warning system for that. I can't answer that.
Typically there is a they will transmit to those flashing lights along the main road to notify motorists of an emergent response. So everyone is properly notified.
Now, my other question may be a dumb one, but what's happening with the old fire station? Are they keeping both, or?
I couldn't answer that, actually. It wasn't part of their submittal, the information there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read something, I can't remember where I read it the other day, that the one on Clover will be closing and they'll be moving to this one.
So is that property gonna be sold to,
I'm not sure. I believe if it's under the ownership Upper Pine, they'll have disposal at their will, but it's outside the scope of what we're reviewing tonight.
right, okay.
Yeah, it says it right here, relocate Station 1 from Clover. That's where I read it.
There you go.
Like, I know I read it somewhere recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're relocating it, so.
That's all I got.
Looks like they've addressed all our concerns, and I think it's-
I do have one other question. The medical portion of this, is this gonna be like a regular clinic stuff where we'll have doctors or hospital people on site where you get a lot of traffic in and out, or is this an emergency kind of medical
It'll be
thing?
an urgent care, just similar to Durango Urgent Care. And
So it will be
MS.
urgent care, not normal, I got a cold, I gotta go see the doctor kind of thing.
I expect
my
it'll probably be a pretty used facility. I know medical care in Bayfield is really hard to
Right.
get into your primary care doctor. And a lot of people do go to Durango and use those urgent cares, me being one, went yesterday. Just because trying to get into your primary, and if you're a Bayfield primary, is a
So
little bit
it will, it
difficult,
will
so
be
there will
open
be.
to the public?
It
for
is, yeah, it's a,
walk-in?
Correct.
yeah, it's an
Full-service
urgent
kinda
care
thing.
facility.
Okay,
Yep.
So there will be traffic there.
okay.
That's what all the parking spaces look like.
Yeah, I was gonna exactly that, Commissioner Lyon. I was gonna refer you to page 11 of your packet. The site design includes adequate parking space, whether it's for employees or members of the public to use the facility there.
Urgent care's on this
And
side.
I'm sure a traffic study was done on that.
Correct.
Okay.
Have any public input on this item?
Good evening, commissioners. Kat Katsos, 525 Ridge Road. Actually, Dan, I'm going to ask you, where is the detention pond? I couldn't see it in the site design. And stormwater is a pretty big issue for us right now, so I'm curious as to where that is and the impact of that.
So based on their site layouts, and it's on page 11, I'm going to defer to Chris to explain the design's drainage, as he's the engineer on right now. But they have, where was the call out for it? I could identify, just found
Have you
it.
seen it, Kat? It's hard to see on paper, but it's.
Yeah, I looked, but I couldn't see it there.
Yeah, it's kind of on the east side of that building.
And that's not the wildland, or the.
Wetland.
No, the wetlands on the west side of the property along 501. Yeah, Chris, would you mind explaining the drainage for this?
Yeah, so we have, there's two primary ponds. I'll call them ponds. One's more of a swale. There's one located south of the southern parking lot. So basically, all of the building runoff, parking areas, and everything else from the building and on the east side of the property all drains south into the detention pond. It's not very big, it's the side's not very big. And there's also a culvert that goes under the main road on the west side, so we have a small swale graded in on that side of the property that is reducing the runoff to less than what is existing levels going to that culvert. Our detention design, basically the site will discharge less stormwater to the adjacent properties after the development than it does currently in the undeveloped condition.
And then, the other thing too, are they gonna use the same gate that the fire department currently uses as a backup emergency gate?
No, not from my understanding. Actually, on the new site design, they're proposing a new access point on a County Road 501. La Plata County commented on the project; they had no issue with it. That's going to be the gated access. It's also going to be painted and marked, and only allowed to be used by fire apparatus or emergency vehicles. Their secondary access point is on Sawyer Drive to the east.
The fire department currently has a gate there, and it hasn't been a very effective deterrent. People have driven through there, destroyed the gate, they've had the gate completely down, had to put it back up. It didn't have any flashing lights if they were using it as an emergency exit. So I just know from past history, I walk by there almost every day, and so I'm a little concerned about the safety of the gate technique versus maybe another. But I would just question that since there's been problems with the fire department's gate in the past. So those were my only questions or concerns.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they do have, I forgot they had that little fire station right, like, almost adjacent to this property.
Yeah, it's a.
So they're
there's the
keeping
fire
that
station.
one and closing this one. It's kind of weird, but okay.
So they're gonna close this one here and keep the one that's on 501?
Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like.
I don't think the one on 501 is, I think it's just their administration building. They do trainings and things like
Yeah.
that
Right.
over there. But I don't think they have apparatus in that building.
Yeah, so that's probably where the
That is
gates.
correct, that
Okay.
is correct, it is only an administration building.
That's right. Okay. So that's the gate, Cat, that you were talking about, that it's not like an emergency vehicle gate, it's just,
Well, it is emergency only, but it's just one little metal thing like this with nothing.
Yeah.
You can actually drive around it if you want.
okay.
That's why I was wondering if they were gonna sell the property, if they're gonna take up that whole driveway so people don't just start, or the new people, but that's a
And I'm
different
pretty sure
issue.
there's
Yeah.
sewer apparatus there.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk by there all the time and they've got 2 huge bays. And so I think that they do store.
Well, they have a couple trucks in there.
Yeah.
They have ambulances in
And I
there.
don't know if they're backup trucks, like they don't always use them unless.
The chief's truck, like
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know for sure how they operate,
but they do training in that parking lot. That's why you see the burnt out cars and things. So where are we at?
anything else on this item?
No,
Appreciate
sounds
your input, Dan, and looking into this, and I think it's a good thing we're re-reviewing, so.
Appreciate it.
all
Thank you.
that.
Well, it's good to see that they brought the proper stuff.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's our opinion as well.
yeah.
Close the public hearing, move on to action agenda, item 3A, 2023-13 Upper Pine Fire Protection District use by review. Entertain a motion.
I motion, I don't have it written down, but what's number one?
I'm looking for it. Here you go.
So motion to approve the UPR FPD new fire station number 1, with the following conditions,
Just A, B.
A and B. I move.
Yeah.
Condition C,
conditions
or condition 1.
2, 3, 4.
Anybody second it?
I'll second that.
Are we doing all findings and conditions?
All
Just
findings and
To be clear
conditions.
for our minutes.
Yes.
Thank you
All
so
findings
much.
and conditions.
Yes. The suggested number A,
Yeah.
Perfect. Alternative action A is what we're moving forward with.
Yes.
yes. As
Give a
long as
second.
Scott's okay with it, you okay with it, Scott? Just making sure you're awake over there.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyon,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Chair Gad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Action agenda 3B, approval of December 11th, 2024 minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tenza,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyon,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Chair Gad.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next planning commission meeting will tentatively be March 11th, 2025.
Correct. It looks like we're going to be hosting the meeting, and I'll provide a general update. I think it'd be a good time, just what's going on in the department since I've been there, but it looks like we should have one project ready for it.
And Kristen, just as a note, I'll have to do that one remotely.
Okay. We'll get a Zoom before we send out the agenda this time. Get it all posted.
Did your boss clear that request?
My boss, yeah. Said no flying in for this next meeting.
And I'd adjourn the meeting, or entertain a motion to adjourn.
That's yours.
Motion